That is Operencia, the Stolen Sun, conquered. I I didn't actually think I would be able to beat this game today, and I made some good time as well. Oh boy, oh boy. Um, my overall thoughts on this game is amazing. This game just does so many cool things that I can't help but like all the individual qualities that it has. I think it just does a really good job with everything that it does. It's super enjoyable. I have here, it's a fantastic game, greatly reminds me of a D&D campaign, and it plays like that in so many ways. That might be why I was drawn to so much of the game. One of the interesting things about this game is how much it plays like a small adventure, or maybe a grand adventure in Dungeons and Dragons. It approaches things in a very similar way, and in a lot of ways, like it has a narrator who's kind of telling you what's going on as things are happening. They're very, very similar to each other, and I like those parallels. They work out really well, and they have a great I forgot the word I was going to use, but it's great. I like that connection that they have. Story, was it satisfying?
Mother, why did you lie to me? Why did you tell me Elia was dead?
It motivated you, did it not? To avenge dragonkind against the humans?
Among other things.
You realize your feelings for that succubus are absolutely unrequited, don't you?
You need not remind me.
And what were these other things that motivated you? Perhaps you meant to impress me for once in your life.
My plan was more sound than Thade's ever was. But yes, I failed.
Fate's failure was not expected. Yours was. But no matter. Your inability to succeed was part of my own plan.
I don't understand, Mother.
You will. In time, you will. As will the rest of humanity. At least the ones unfortunate enough to survive.
Okay. Yeah, was the story satisfying? I mean, I had a great time with the story, and I liked it a lot, but I'm not a fan of the ending. I know this game has not really exhibited any places where choice is really there, but because this game draws so much into D&D for me, it just doesn't make any sense why we would let Charkaz live. I really don't like that angle of, oh, this person has committed countless atrocities, and they will probably continue to do so, but they're my son, and I must be selfish, and so you must grant me this wish. It's like, no, sucker. This guy just killed like 100 million people. He's gonna kill 500 more million people if we let him live. I ain't giving you that wish. That stuff bugs me a lot. And then obviously we got this little, post-credit dialogue going on. And that just proves me right. It's just you don't make that mistake. That's a rookie mistake, all right? And rookies don't even make that mistake. That's an insult to rookies. We ain't down with that. Did it feel complete? It does feel complete. How's the pacing? I have here the pacing is very on point. No distractions from the main story whatsoever. This game is a straight shooter as far as the story goes, and there is no dead time or dead weight or anything. You're going from area to area and you're learning about what's going on, and then you fight the boss and move on to other areas. So really, really great pacing in that regard. So thoughts on the story. I wrote this last week, I think, and I have here the story is fine. There aren't really any hard-hitting plot twists, which is more than acceptable. I mean, we kind of anticipated that Sharkaz was not a good guy. Maybe not, the big bad. I don't remember what I said before, but other than the ending, I think the story was very, very well done, and so I like that. For the writing, very enjoyable writing for this game. Like, this is some of the best writing that I've had the pleasure of experiencing all year. It's only March, but this is some fantastic writing. And on top of that, like, it's just delivered in such a great way. Yoshka is hilarious. He has so many fantastic one-liners and zingers and things like that. He's a treat. Too bad like all his skills suck and everything like that, but we moving on. For gameplay mechanics and design, some gameplay elements to stand out. Brewing potions is super, super cool. Brewing potions, I know no game is ever going to copy this, but making it so that you need to do a little like word puzzle kind of thing to get this new item, it's an incredibly unique experience for me, and all I could do was enjoy every aspect of it. This game had some great puzzles in of itself, but adding that extra layer on top of it and getting a really cool reward that's a potion, just it made it even better. I love it. And then the second point, great puzzles. This game has some great puzzles. Other than a couple stumbles by myself, I'm going to say 3 stumbles. The keys, the other thing that I needed to look up, and then the purple there. I didn't have to look up the purple. I figured that one out on my own, but that it's hard to try to say that it needed a little bit more hand holding when a lot of people don't really want hand holding, but I think the hint that was there just wasn't very clear enough, and I'll kind of get to that maybe a little bit later. Hopefully. Let's see. When characters are talking, interacting with objects or entering combat doesn't interrupt the dialogue, so that you can never hear it again. In combat, the fighting noises are reduced significantly until the talking is done. Fantastic thing, and I wish more games did this. There are so many games out there that you get some dialogue going. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna move around. Still do stuff while the talking is going on, and then you go loot a treasure chest or something like that, and then the dialogue just cuts off, and you never get to hear it again. It could be the most amazing dialogue. It could be story relevant or something like that. It could be character relevant, and it's just gone. And I really appreciate how this game handled it. It treated like every piece of dialogue was drastically important. And it was. There's just great lines in here that, you never want to miss. So I appreciate that so much. Oh, okay, here we go. I encountered 2 instances of being stuck. Both of those times I needed to look for something and couldn't find it. One feature I would love to see is a better hint system. Perhaps you can talk to your party members to have them assist you on the next part of the quest, or have them discuss their thoughts on the next objective. Those keys in the Copper Forest were rough for me. The second Tomb Dungeon's coffin also gave me a hard time. And I'm going to add the purple energy to power the lifts. That one also gave me a hard time, but I figured that one out somehow. I think that those puzzles in of themselves, or those actions were fine, but if I could approach a party member and they'd be like, well, there's a coffin right there. Maybe we should inspect the coffin a little bit closer. Or, I know this is going to add like a lot of lines for every single puzzle and things like that. But if you get stuck right there, what are you supposed to do? Especially for the coffin one, I spent a good chunk of time looking around. I could not find anything. Would I have found it eventually? Maybe. But it wasn't worth the time, which is why, after spending so much time, I decided to look it up. I also encountered approximately 3 to 5 instances where secret passages were required for dungeon progression, and I really hope this changes in the future. Stumbling upon an illusory wall is very cool because you realize there's a secret there. Being required to find an illusionary wall to progress just creates frustration for me. I think this one's, pretty well explained there. I think illusionary walls need to strictly be secrets, because if you're walking around looking for them, it's not good for the game, I guess. You could arguably say that hurts the pacing. It not in a way. For dungeons, my favorite dungeon? I don't know. I really should have wrote something down for that. I think all the dungeons here really have merit. There's also aspects of the dungeons where you can go back and do them. As a matter of fact, I'm really, really curious because I got a head at the end there, and I know exactly where that head goes. And I'm going to go there. Because I was curious about that like a long time ago. And it's kind of crazy that you don't get that head until the very end of the game. So that's crazy in of itself. It goes right here.
I liked him better without the head.
This looks like a boss room. This could be a secret boss. So I'm gonna finish my thoughts real quick, and then we'll go on to that. Let's see. No cardinal sins. I wanted to check to see if backup party members got experience, but I didn't manage to check that. So that kind of sucks, but it's probably not needed. I mean, if I'm... an easy way to check, actually. Since I'm here. So, everybody is level 24, so I have no reason to believe that backup party members don't get full experience, because Yoshka and Axelrod should be the highest levels, and they have what looks to be the highest experience of any other party members. So, Yeah, no cardinal sins, shockingly. For miscellaneous, for music, really good. This is a soundtrack that I'm looking forward to playing. Well, I was gonna say in an upcoming video, but I haven't listened to it yet. But I can't wait to listen to the soundtrack because there are so many quality tracks on here. The voice acting, super good. Like, really top tier voice acting. I think there's a couple people that you could make an argument for. Campo is, you know, he's different with his voice acting. And so you could say, you know, oh, that's not that good. Or you could say, hey, you know, that's actually really unique. And, you know, I like the direction. I actually like the direction that he was going. He was, you know, crazy old man sounding. The graphics, I think the graphics were really good. Had no issue with that. Replay value, I don't see really any replay value going on. You can accomplish basically everything that you need to within the confines of the game right before the final boss. So that's cool. For the other section, I wish the controller mapping for movement was on the D-pad instead of the analog stick. For the game with 4-directional movement, it just seems like a no-brainer. It is kind of weird because the next point that I have is I also wish all the menus and interactions that worked with the D-pad worked with the analog stick and vice versa. There's a lot of controls that you can do with the D-pad, and then you get to a point where you can't use them, so you have to swap over to the analog stick to do that. And it just seems awkward. And plus, being able to move with the D-pad is just seems like a really big oversight, not allowing that. But you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter in the long run. I mean, play this game with a keyboard and mouse. It's so much better. If the developer is watching, I don't know if it's intentional, but this game might be the best representation of Dungeons and Dragons in video games for me that I've played. There's exploration, secrets, puzzles, dungeons, encounters, and story all wrapped nicely in this package. It's so wonderfully done. I can't like explain this any more than I already have, but I really like just how much it reminds me of it, and I hope it still keeps that same, I don't know, charm or energy or soul of this game to potentially other games. And a fantastic game all around. I really hope there's a sequel or a prequel or something in this same format because I like it a lot. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts. Operencia, The Stolen Sun, fantastic game. Don't regret playing it at all. I actually wish I played it a lot sooner than this because of how much I liked it.